Mephisto! You daintily shrieked, me lord. Indeed I did, you rancid human platter of festering offal meat. Now enlighten me! How far from completion is that 17,000 feet tall statue of myself perched over Uluru as if I was scraping it up the soles of my shoes like a recently shat-cut dog mess? Seems rather culturally insensitive, me lord. I refer to it using its indigenous name. Treasury saying it's too expensive, sire. Double disillusion! Whoa, double disillusion? Over what? These construction union industry fat cats and a disgraceful lack of productivity. Putting a premium on the life of falling hammer cushions over art. What, despite us having one of the most productive construction industries in the world? I am the Maltese Terrier on the front of Caesar dog food cans. Only the best will do. Your plan to improve productivity is to reintroduce the ABCC. This is a commission that already existed, quantifiably achieved nothing. No criminal convictions, no economic benefit, clearly just a very transparent ruse for John Howard to spend $250 million taxpayer dollars on personal political payback. Payback? Never. In all my years as an allergic to the sun, pasty homeschooled boy, whose manservant played a rather horrific trick on me once by suggesting, Master, are you aware there's a boogeyman in your closet? Oh! Has anyone ever accused I of being vengeful? I accused Howard, but wiggle though you may, you despicable grub, you have just made my personal list of vengeance. Let's see. Cats the musical, Kit Kats, Cat Stevens, Union Fat Cats, and of course, this little alley cat.
It improved productivity by 20%.
Malcolm, if productivity really increased by 20% in a single industry because of a commission...
Careful now. Curiosity killed the cat.
I'm just saying, Malcolm, that if that actually happened, we'd have economists from all over the globe travelling here in numbers as large as monkeys if they could afford to go on a pilgrimage to the big banana, chanting, "Look at the size of this banana!" You know why there wasn't? I always assumed it was those rancid primates in Malaysia's monkey temple mugging all the tourists and booking out all the tickets to Australia that year. Which if I win a third term will be reshaped into my magnificent face. Looking out into the universe with the raised eyebrows, if to say. Indeed. Surprisingly, no. The real reason why there wasn't that pilgrimage is because the only figure that even suggested the ABCC lifted productivity wasn't 20%. It was 1.3%. Oh, the moans of the damned howling their statistical tyranny pain my delicate ears. Double ear disillusion. That 1.3% figure was based off economics so deeply flawed that when it was introduced into a court of law, the judge recommended that it be totally disregarded. And yet we have a Prime Minister who appears to be the economic equivalent of some guy you meet in a bar who claims,
"So I was in Loch Ness once, right? And I saw the monster. And I thought, holy smokes, that's a Loch Ness monster."
Patronize me, I know what I saw and I have the photographic evidence to prove it. Observe! Looks more like a productivity in the construction industry grew at a lower rate than the standard growth in other major industries under Howard's ABCC. Questionable photographic expert they hire for cryptozoology programming on the Discovery Channel?
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to call this one out as a hoax.
Damn you, Chuckshot. Nothing gets past his highly scrutinizing prescription sunglasses.
You guys know where I can find a Yowie?
Yes! In fact, the very one they based the chocolates off. In the Deputy Prime Minister's office. Besides, the economic argument of the ABCC is a guise, a means to an end, like blowing up an aquarium. What end does that accomplish? To see a hammerhead shark fly. Land on one of those falling hammer cushions, thus lightening the workload of the ABCC, whose reintroduction is necessary for strong measures to deal with widespread and systematic criminality in the building and construction industry. Very odd way to deal with criminality, seeing as the ABCC doesn't even handle criminal cases. Yes. Never underestimate the element of surprise. Particularly when hundreds of millions of dollars went unpaid to workers under Howard's ABCC. And don't question the usefulness of the element of surprise either. How many businesses and employers under Howard's ABCC were prosecuted for that? None. To highly appropriate Treebeard. Many of these construction companies are my friends. And yet in 4 years, with a budget of $250 million focused solely on union officials and workers, the ABCC was only able to prosecute 29 cases, all of which were dropped because they were, quote, baseless. Well, that ties in rather nicely with my core voting bloc. where every time I try to appeal to their baser instincts, I discover that they're already trapped in a baseless pit. Observe! Bill Shorten is an opium addict. Bloody bastard, I knew he was. This is despite the chairman of the ABCC being awarded prosecution powers so draconian they breached 3 of the UN's labour laws. Bizarrely, in a country that otherwise has one of the world's best legal systems, right down there with the likes of Saudi Arabia and North Korea, who have an abundance of statutes, so it obviously gets results. No one in Australia is subdued to a legal process that medieval. Even terror suspects have more rights than this. Think about that. When the Liberal Party is asked to choose between the danger of construction workers and ISIS, they think, what about the one with the funny hat for his own safety? There was a 37% increase in deaths on construction sites. That's 330 men who died because union construction delegates were forbidden to check the safety of sites. Good! The election hasn't been held yet. Then allow me to rephrase that. Coincidence! A coincidence that as soon as the ABCC was abolished, the number of deaths went right back down, which brings us to the core of this entire tragic irony. For a Prime Minister who seems to run on a theme of optimism and building a bright new future, you've hijacked the 2016 election that should have been fought solely on climate change, as the next term in office is the build-up to 2020 and therefore do or die for the planet. But instead you've decided to make it a referendum on whether or not the people of Australia will allow you to squander $250 million of their money on petty political payback that results in actual deaths. That's why there's, quote, never been a more exciting time to be alive, as we can now witness in high definition a return to the Master Servants Act in the dying days of the planet due to your party's unimaginably ignorant self-indulgence to malevolently waste the most important election of our democracy, promoting a literal blood offering to your property developer donors. If you strip away all the televised lies and sugarcoating on this dog whistle of an issue, that's Malcolm Turnbull's election pitch. A single platform even I myself find hard to believe the Liberal Party has actually stooped this low. They're running on mass manslaughter. I'm doing it for a higher purpose, boy. I need slaves to build my statues. The most honest slogan of the Liberal Party's 2016 election campaign is now yours to own in shirt form thanks to Lonely Kids Club. Whoa, that got light fast. Get one today.
Please press the subscribe button now. Come on.